We have found them. I've seen and spoken with them both.
Oh, thank God. Are they married?
No, I agree with Colonel Foster's assessment of the situation. I don't think Wickham ever intended to marry Lydia.
But he must, for else he'll be ruined. Oh, the disgrace of it all. I think I should have mad.
Calm yourself. There seems to be a solution on offer. My brother's discussing the details now. It seems that Mr. Wickham can be persuaded to marry Lydia if a small allowance is made for the wedding. To be exact, the sum of £100 per year and a commission in another regiment.
We can't afford that.
My brother has offered to help. It seems a reasonable price to pay to save the family name.
Yes, yes. We must do everything we can to save the name of this family. Is it news from London?
No, it's from Mr. Collins. It says,
Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, I wish to offer my condolences for your grievous affliction. The death of your daughter would have been a blessing in comparison to this. I am of the opinion that it stems from too much indulgence, though at the same time, for the condolence of yourself and Mrs. Bennet, I am inclined to think that Lydia's disposition was naturally bad.
Mother. Can it really be 2 months since I went away? But yet it seems like a fortnight, and yet so much has happened. Do the people hereabouts know I'm married today? I want to show everyone my ring and show them what a handsome and charming husband I've acquired. Oh, Lizzie, I must speak with you. I didn't know how you feel about it. Well, you know, I know you once harboured some affection for Mr. Wickham, and...
My dear Lydia, you need not have any qualms on my behalf. You're welcome to Mr. Wickham. I hope you're very happy together.
Thank you. Thank you, dearest Elizabeth. Do you know, I almost had to be called off at the last minute?
Why, was Mr. Wickham having second thoughts?
Oh, no, of course not. It's just that our dear uncle, who has been giving us away, was called away on urgent business at the last minute, and it looked like we might have to postpone it. But luckily, Mr. Darcy agreed to stand in for him.
Mr. Darcy?
Oh, yes, he escorted Mr. Wickham to church. Oh, but gracious me, I quite forgot. He swore me to secrecy. Oh, Lizzie, you must not tell anyone I told you.
Don't worry, Lydia, your secret is safe with me. Mr. Darcy, escorting Mr. Wickham. How can that be?
Hello, Jane.
Mr. Bailey, have you returned to Netherfield?
Yes, for good.
It's been so long since you left. People said you would never return. I always hoped it was not true.
My dearest Jane, I don't know where to begin.
Lord de Burgh wishes to join you.
Lord Charles?
Hope you're well, Miss Bennet. This lady, I suppose, is your mother.
Yes, yes I am. And these are my daughters, Kitty and Mary.
You have a very small park here, Miss Bennet.
Well, it is quite a bit smaller than Rosings, but quite a bit larger than Sir William Lucas's.
This must be the most inconvenient sitting room during summer evenings. The windows are all facing west.
Well, we never sit here after dinner.
Indeed. Mrs. Bennet, I wonder if I might have a word in private with your daughter, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth? Why, yes, of course. Come on, dear.
Miss Bennet, I shall come straight to the point. A report reached me some days ago that not only was your sister on the point of being advantageously married, but that you, Miss Elizabeth Bennet, would in all likelihood soon afterwards be united with my own nephew, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy.
Really? And from whom did you hear this report?
That is of no consequence, particularly as I know it to be a scandalous falsehood.
Really? Then why are you here?
Did you not know that Mr. Darcy is engaged to marry my daughter?
Your daughter Anne?
Precisely. So, what do you have to say to that?
Only this. If he is engaged to your daughter, then you have no reason to suspect that he will make an offer on me.
Their engagements of a different kind. Right from infancy, they were intended for each other. It was his mother's favourite wish, as well as mine. We planned this union while they were still in their cradles.
And has Mr. Darcy agreed to this?
Not in so many words, of course, but he knows where his duty lies.
But if Mr. Darcy feels he is not, by honour, nor inclination, nor even duty, bound to marry your daughter, then he is free to make his own choice, and if I am that choice, why should I not accept him?
Because honour, decorum, and decency forbid it. You are of inferior birth, and are wholly unacceptable to the family. Nor is it in your interest, Miss Bennet. Yes, Miss Bennet, your own interests forbid it, for you shall be shunned by all his friends and family.
If that is so, then Mr. Darcy must be the first to realise it, and if it does not bother him, then it will not bother me.
Perhaps he's not yet aware of your sister's infamous elopement. You can be sure I shall make him aware of it.
I believe he may already be aware of it.
And you think you could have such a girl as his sister in God's name? What can you have been thinking? Is the estate of Pemberley and the name of Darcy to be so polluted? No. You must promise me you will never enter into engagement with him.
And do you honestly believe that such a promise will send him into the arms of your daughter? You must be terribly naive and foolish if you believe that.
How dare you, Miss Bennet? You are trying my patience.
And you, sir, are trying mine.
Oh, look, Jane, here comes Mr. Bingley, and he has a gentleman with him. Oh, it's that vile Mr. Darcy. Although what business he had with us, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, he's not so unpleasant. I mean, he was rather proud and aloof when we first met, but he's become much more cordial of late. I understand he's been very kind to Uncle.
Oh, I don't know, he makes me feel uncomfortable. But seeing as he's Mr. Bingley's friend, I suppose I shall put up with him.
Mrs. Bennet, I have some business that I wish to discuss with your daughter Elizabeth. Is she here?
I think so. I shall see. Though what business you would have with Elizabeth, I can't imagine. Elizabeth!
Mr. Darcy, I wasn't expecting you to call.
I hope that my visit is not unwelcome.
Oh, quite the contrary. I've been awaiting an opportunity to show you my gratitude for what you did for Lydia.
Lydia?
I know it was supposed to be a secret, but Lydia has never been very good at holding her tongue. I know you arranged the marriage between them, and I know you settled an allowance on Wickham to force him into it.
I regret that you should know about it. I do not wish to cause you any uneasiness.
And you've caused me none. I'm very grateful to you for what you did.
Neither did I wish to secure your gratitude, for I would not wish such sentiments to cloud your judgment on issues which are of more vital concern to me.
And what might those be?
Oh, Elizabeth, when I heard what you said to Lord Charles, how you refused to tell him you would not marry me, it taught me to hope, as I had scarcely ever allowed myself to hope before.
Yes, you know enough of my frankness to believe me capable of that. I just hope that you can forgive me for the awful things I said to you when I rejected your proposal.
It was nothing I did not deserve. My behaviour to you at the time was unpardonable. You were right to point it out.
Let us not fight for the share of the blame. Can we just put it all behind us?
No, I shall carry those words with me, always, as a watchword. You showed me how ill-founded was my pride, and how sadly I was lacking in the qualities necessary to please a woman worthy of being pleased.
Good heavens! What is the cause of this? Elizabeth, I'm surprised at you, acting in such an intimate manner with no sense of decorum.
There are certain things, Mother, that override decorum, as Mr. Darcy and I have both discovered.
Mrs. Bennet, I assure you, I was not being disrespectful to your daughter. The fact is, I would like to ask her to be my wife.
You. Marry Elizabeth. Well, I have to say this is totally unexpected. And what do you have to say about this, Elizabeth?
I could not think of anybody who could do me greater honour in such a proposal.
Well, I suppose he would make a charming husband. You know, I've always admired you, Mr. Darcy. So handsome and charming, and such a fine state.
Mrs. Bennet, perhaps I might discuss it with Mr. Bennet.
Of course. I'm sure he'll have no objections.
May I speak to him first? I think it might be better if I do.
Of course. Would you wish to accompany me, Mr. Darcy?
But my dearest Elizabeth, your mother informs me that you and Mr. Darcy wish to be married. Can this be true?
Yes, Father.
Well, I'm flabbergasted. I could not think of a man less suited to you.
I assure you, Mr. Darcy and I are ideally suited. I was prejudiced against him at one time, just as you are, but it may help you to see him in a better light to know that it was Mr. Darcy who saved this family from disgrace. He arranged Lydia's marriage and settled an allowance on Wickham to force him into it.
But I thought my brother had provided for that.
No, he was sworn to secrecy by Mr. Darcy, who did not wish to secure anybody's gratitude, least of all mine.
Why, it's enough to shake one's faith in human nature. Such selfless behaviour makes me feel uncomfortable. I would like to be dealing with someone more selfish and self-aware, much like our dear Mr. Wickham, who I think shall always be my favourite son-in-law. Still, if it's Mr. Darcy you wish to marry, I shall not stand in your way. Though I shall hate to see you depart from this house. You have no idea how much I miss you when you're gone.
Oh, Father.
5 daughters, all in a row. 5 daughters and plenty to show for it. 3 are accounted for, 2 more to go. Will it be their turn next? Only time will tell. But I think I've done well.